kind of a return protocol in terms of our physical activity, getting ready for one-on-one sessions coming up pretty soon. So our speaker for today will be Darby Broeker, not Darby Adams, as previously stated in that last email. If you guys do have any questions, please make sure you guys type it into the chat, and we will do our best to answer that. Hopefully your parents all got a survey that we sent out about an hour ago, and if your parents could fill that out, or you guys fill that out, that would be great. Okay, so without further ado.
Yeah, so you guys should be filling out the survey. It's about athletes and how they're handling COVID-19 kind of stuff, so make sure it is not your parents that are filling that out, but it was sent to your parents. Yes, Jess, right?
Yes.
Okay. It's a CHLA survey, so it would make me look really good if you guys would do that, but it also really help some research that we're doing there. But anyway, to get started, I'm just going to state the obvious. A lot of us, the majority of us, are not volleyball practice, volleyball game ready, right? But that's okay, right? COVID-19 has pretty much ended our season, right? It interrupted us in the middle of our season, and we've all kind of taken a huge step back from what we were doing on a weekly basis with volleyball. But also the good part about COVID-19 is that it allowed our bodies to rest and recover. So I know I had a lot of athletes coming up to me. We were kind of right in that middle of the season where things that weren't really bothering us at the beginning were starting to bother us a little bit more each and every time, right? Injuries were becoming more current, soreness, all that kind of stuff was happening more often. So now hopefully with this break that we've had, you guys have listened to your bodies. You've allowed yourself to recover. You've gotten the rest that your bodies were kind of demanding from you. So going forward, it's important that we keep our bodies healthy for when we return to the dojo, right? To think that we can all just go back to the dojo and volleyball practices and be right where we were when we left off, I think is unrealistic. So with that being said, I'm going to kind of talk about just a few points that I have that we can kind of start to do now in order to prepare for when we go to the dojo. SG has been great in providing you guys so many resources, workouts, right? Coaches, clinics, all these kind of things that you can be doing at home in a safe environment that kind of get you ready. So if you've been doing those things, great. I applaud you. That's awesome. If you haven't, that's okay. It's just probably a good time to start doing them now. So the first point that I want to do is that I just need you guys to start moving. We're gonna basically our return to play kind of thing is it's gonna be gradual. You're gonna return to lessons, you're gonna return to practice, but it's gonna be a slow and steady kind of thing. And what's great about that is when you remember to kind of start slow, you listen to your body a little bit more, you're not overdoing it. I always talk about how you ever like squeeze toothpaste out of a container, right? You can't add that toothpaste back into the container, but if you do a little bit at the beginning and then you can always add more. You can't take stuff back. So I want you guys to kind of think of it like that. When you're a little more slow to start, because if you do too much too soon, that's going to increase your risk of injury. As much as I am there for you guys, I love to help you. I want to help you perform your best, help you recover from injuries. You don't have injuries, even better, right? Then you're out on the court. We don't have to worry about being with me. The less time you spend with me actually is better. So the more you prepare now, the more efficient you're going to be when you go back to lessons and practices. And that's going to decrease your injury risk. So in doing that, so where do we start, right? Hopefully, like I said before, SG's been giving you guys like 5 to 6 workouts a week, whether that be workouts with Brian, Pilates, Zumba classes, all of these good things, all of these things are good places to start. I believe SG has been keeping a lot of these workouts on their YouTube page. So if you feel like, I haven't really been doing these, like maybe I should go back, I think that's a great place to start. So like I said, how to prepare, just get moving. So whether that's some outdoor activities, so now that like COVID's lifted a little bit, hiking, is now an option. If you have a swimming pool, start swimming, anything that's going to kind of get that cardio up again. I think a lot of times when we get back, I think that's going to be our biggest issue, right? You guys just aren't going to be able to sustain a full-blown practice right away, right? And it's not that anyone at SG, any of your coaches or I expect you guys to be 100% ready, but the more you do now, the better. So like I said, SG's had those workouts. Those are always fine to go back and reference. Pilates, okay, if you're not feeling it during Pilates, I have to say that you might not be doing it right, because Pilates is a great workout. It helps with stretching, it's core strengthening, all that good stuff. Zumba's a great increase in heart rate. Brian's doing workouts with you guys that you would be normally doing at the dojo during your practices. So I really, really encourage you guys to go back to some of those and do those. I'm not sure how many of you watched the like prehab banded exercise I did for shoulder, maybe like a few weeks back or so, but we really want to start working on some of those prehab exercises. So Kenji kind of asked me to talk about the most common injuries that I see, and one would definitely be ankle sprains. So now is a great time to start doing your ankle prehab exercises. So a lot of times kids will come to me and they're like, okay, Darby, I have sprained my ankle 6 times on my right and 4 times on my left. It just happens all the time. My ankles are super weak. And I always say it's hard to fight that uphill battle when you guys are doing so much practice-wise, private lessons-wise, right? You can't really rehab or prehabilitation stuff while you're in the middle of season. So now was a great time to start doing that kind of stuff. So banded exercises, ankle pumps, ABCs with the band, all that kind of stuff. After this, we're gonna post some like intermediate, advanced, beginner kind of rehab exercises for the ankle and the shoulder. So you guys have references to go back and do that. Those are something that can be done 10 minutes, twice a day for 10 minutes. It's not, I don't think it's asking a lot, but it's gonna go a long way the more you continue to do those. The second one would be like shoulder. Not that I've seen a lot of major shoulder injuries at SU yet, but a lot of you guys complain about shoulder tightness, like shoulder overuse, right? After a day of after a practice of hitting so many serves or swinging so many times, you guys come to me and are like, oh man, like I'm really sore, or I'm really tight, I've got some pain here. That shoulder maintenance program is key. That's huge for you guys. So the more you can do stuff like that, once again, 10 minutes a day, it's stretching, it's getting a little bit of a workout in, but it's building that shoulder strength that will help you maintain those practices for when we kind of get back rolling into things. Also plyos. I've been told that Brian and Felix and Oscar have been doing, Oscar and Jose have been doing plyo workouts for you guys every Saturday, and they're kind of a progressive plyo. Please do those. Brian and I are gonna sit down and we're gonna kind of do some more focused plyo exercises. So if you've been doing those plyo exercises on Saturdays, we're gonna kind of create one that's a little bit more advanced. But if you haven't been doing any plyos yet, I think this is at the top of your list. Jumping and landing, side movements, all that kind of stuff, that's fundamentals of volleyball. And I really, really encourage you guys to get back to that. Like explosiveness from when you jump, when you land, like that's key. I cannot emphasize the importance of focusing on your plyos and stuff like that anymore. Like then just, you guys should be doing them. Please do it. And then for college athletes, for those of you who are leaving us to go play college volleyball, we'll miss you, but at the same time, we want to give you the resources and tools to excel when you get to college. And as a former Division I soccer player, I can say working out the summer before your freshman year is extremely important. I was given a summer packet, like a workout packet, and I'll be completely honest, I never did them. Never. And it showed. I was shown up by a lot of people. So think about it, sophomores, juniors, seniors that are used to those workout plans, that are used to that kind of training. It'll it will be obvious if you haven't done those. So I really encourage you guys to start with your summer packets. If you have any questions on those, I mean, I don't want to speak for Brian, but even for myself, come ask me questions. I'm more than happy to help you through some of those. I'm sure Brian could help you if you have any questions or kind of what your progress should be. If your college didn't give you summer packets, my number one thing would be reach out to your college coaches. Ask them if you can get in contact with your strength and conditioning coach, and see if they have like workouts for you, because every system is different. Every college workout or like strength and conditioning coach has some things that they like to do versus things that they don't like to do. So I don't want to sit here and be like, oh, do all of these exercises, and then, you know, you get someone and they're like, oh, we don't like to focus on that kind of stuff. So those would be my first two recommendations. Is if you have your summer packet, do it. If you don't have a summer packet, ask for something similar from your strength and conditioning coaches. And then the band workouts, right? Just anything that you can do to kind of build that ankle and shoulder maintenance. I think that that's just over long term going to really help you guys out. And then kind of a last point on this, I just want you guys to get familiar with a volleyball again. I know being at home, kind of isolated by yourself, sometimes volleyball drills aren't all that fun. So we may have like stepped away from using a volleyball kind of thing, but you got to get familiar again. Now that things are kind of starting up is in the near future, you need to get working on that kind of stuff. Familiarize yourself with it. Coaches have given you clinics, like hitting clinics or at-home drills that you don't even need a ball or a net for. So working on like movement patterns, right? It being explosive, knowing where to go. So if you just think, oh, I'm going to come back and be able to do this stuff without practicing kind of thing, it's a sad reality for you. It's not going to go well. So your coaches are there. They're more than happy to give you solo drill ideas for your position or things that they think you need to work on. But like I said, SG's posted a lot of this stuff for you guys to look at. And I would just love that you kind of get some of those basic fundamentals down before you decide to come back and start working on them. We're all at different stages, right? I want you to keep that in mind. Some of us have been doing workouts every day since the beginning of COVID. Some of us have done them once a week. I was slow to start, keeping myself exercising and stuff like that. So I don't blame you. There's no right or wrong here. It's just getting us where we need to be for when we start up again. Just a little side note, because I tend to take care of everyone at the dojo. Coaches, this is for you. Be mindful. When you guys are used to doing 5 lessons a day and hitting X amount of down balls every day of the week, kind of back to back, your body was used to that, right? Well, when was the last time you hit 60 down balls every single day since COVID started, right? It's probably not likely. So mind you, I have to take care of the athletes first. I would love to help you, but don't overdo yourself so that to the point where like you can't help the kids at SG. Let's see, what else do I have in here? And also last thing, I've been like a glorified hall monitor at the hospital, just in the orthopedics, basically not allowing certain amount of people into the waiting room, et cetera, but I've had to wear a mask. And it's the first time that I've had to wear a mask for 8 hours a day. And it's brutal. It is. So I encourage you guys now, like if you're going out walking, if you're not already wearing a mask or you're not used to talking to people through your mask, start doing that, because the more you can kind of prepare yourself for having some physical activity with a mask on and talking to kids, coaching kids through with a mask on, the better you're going to be. The more prepared you'll be. So moving on from that, back to you wonderful players. Like I said, keep in mind we're all at different stages. So going forward with that, the most important thing is that you guys listen to your bodies. I could sit here and be like, you should be doing X amount every single day kind of thing, but I don't know. There's so many of you, and I don't know what you all have been doing, that it's hard for me to be like, this is where everyone is at. So first things first, when we're getting back into this kind of stuff, expect to be sore. There's a huge difference between being sore and having pain. So expect to be sore, but don't let that soreness stop you. I know a lot of times we're gonna, like, you had a hard workout the day before and you're just like, oh my gosh, like everything hurts. I can't lift my arms above my head, right? I can't do blah, blah, blah because something hurts. That's okay. That's soreness. But don't let that discourage you from continuing to build up your cardio, to build up your exercise and your endurance. I'm not sure how many of you are familiar with the term DOMS, D-O-M-S. It stands for delayed onset muscle soreness. And it's basically the soreness that you feel after workout. And you can start feeling that up to 6 to 8 hours after your workup, and it can work out, and then it can last anywhere from like 24 to 48 hours. So work within that. The best thing to recover from soreness is light exercise. It's foam rolling, it's stretching. I can't even begin to tell you how many times I have athletes come up to me and say, oh, Darby, my knee really hurts, or I have this pain in my quad or my hamstring. And the first thing, and those of you who come to see me, the first thing I can guarantee I tell you is, when was the last time you foam rolled? When was the last time you stretched? How often do you do those things, right? And usually, right, I can get you into kind of a foam rolling routine for the day. I kind of tell you what areas to foam roll, and then afterwards, 70% of the time, kids are like, oh my gosh, I don't have pain anymore. Make foam rolling and stretching part of your routine now. The more you're used to making foam rolling and stretching part of your routine, when you come now, and then when you come to SG, you're going to notice a world of difference. I promise you that. If you need foam rolling help, if you need stretching advice or stretching techniques, ask me. I am here for you guys. That's what I'm here for. I'm more than happy to like send you some pictures or just kind of talk you through it. I think a foam roller on Amazon, there's like the little mini ones for $10 or so. Like, invest in one of those. That is going to be a lifesaver for you guys, especially when we come back. SGs also, I don't know if we're going to have access to the foam rollers. We might, but just for future use, you might want your own. I have 2 at home, right? Like, I use them. I love them. They're great. So make it your routine. I cannot emphasize this enough. A lot of the times when you guys come back in, depending on, we're working through soreness or pain, I can guarantee you my answer will still remain the same. How many times have you foam rolled? How often do you foam roll? What is your stretching like? So if you can be like, boom, I do that kind of stuff, then we can kind of get to, we already know that that's not the issue. So that'll help going forward. Going in that direction, if your soreness is prolonged, and you have like really specific pain in a certain area, let me know. The sooner we know, or the sooner I know about your pain, right, the quicker we can start to resolve kind of those issues, and then the less likely you are to get injured. The more your pain is prolonged, it can increase your injury risk and like how long the length of injury or recovery time will be. At SG, we're going to start kind of doing these one-on-one sessions with me and you guys, and where we kind of address any like weaknesses, previous injuries. So if you guys have injuries or ankle sprains, if they happen all the time, they never get any better, we'll kind of start doing some one-on-one stuff for that, some strengthening kind of stuff, so that we can basically prehab exercises, so we can help you overcome kind of those injuries that you haven't really been able to hurdle before. Or if there's something where you think, oh, I feel like I'm weak in this area, I want to strengthen this, we're going to get together and we're going to do some COVID-19 approved one-on-one sessions. And then kind of last point there, nobody can feel your pain. You can, right, like, I can't look at you and tell how much pain you're in. Oh, sometimes I think but like your coaches, right? Like, your coaches don't know what you're feeling until you express that to them. So I say the same thing, right? You guys come to me and you tell me about your pain, you tell me what you're feeling. I advise you to do the same with your coaches. If you're in a lesson, a one-on-one lesson, or you're in, when we get to group kind of stuff and you're just like, whoa, this is hurting, or this doesn't feel right, or I'm really tired, like I'm not as physically fit as I thought I was, let your coaches know. I cannot emphasize this. They will be understanding. you don't feel comfortable telling your coaches, come and let me know, and I can have that conversation with your coaches. We want you guys to come back and be healthy and have fun. And you can't participate in your sport, you can't have fun in your sport if you're hurt, if you're if you're not ready to do so. So some of these are just tips that we're trying to get you guys ready to have fun again, right? To play volleyball again. I don't even play volleyball, and I miss volleyball. So I can only imagine how you guys are feeling. And then my last point, which you guys are probably going to roll your eyes at, it's hydration. It's hot. We've all felt how hot it is. It's summertime, right? So if it's hot outside, you can only imagine how the dojo feels. The dojo will be hot. You will sweat a lot. You need to hydrate. I ask this a lot too. What is your hydration like? And you guys are like, oh, I drink so much water, Darby. And I'm like, okay, great. How much water do you drink? You're like, 1 water bottle. Okay, not enough. Not even close to enough. So I need you guys to start practicing that now. I get a lot of people that are like, oh, like, but drinking water is so hard. Like 1 water bottle feels like a lot. Okay, great. Now's a perfect time to practice. I have a hydro flask. I'm sure many of you have something like a hydro flask, similar to a hydro flask. Think of it this way. It's the 8x8 rule, 8 glasses of water, 8 liters. That's pretty much what you should, or 8 ounces. That's what you should be aiming for. So about 2 liters a day. So I broke it down for you guys, nice and easy. A 24-ounce hydro flask, you should be drinking about 3 of those a day. It's a little bit over, but we're high achievers here. I can believe that you guys can drink those. We're going to be a little bit more than the daily recommended hydration. 32 ounces is 2.5, and 40 ounces is 2. I promise you, it is not that hard. Throughout the whole entire day, I'm only asking you to drink 2 40-ounce hydro flasks. Include ice. I don't care. Ice can count as part of it. I need you guys to start doing that. Physical and mental performance suffers when you're dehydrated. You feel sluggish, your body hurts more, recovery is harder to do when you're dehydrated. Your mental capacity suffers. So your quick thinking, your reaction times, those are delayed when you're hydrated. So you guys lose a lot of body water content through sweating. I cannot emphasize this. I need you guys to take this seriously. I need you to start hydrating now. You cannot hydrate day of. That it doesn't work that way. So prepare yourself now in your hydration so that when we get to these one-on-ones, we're at the dojo again, drinking water for you, no, not a problem. And then you can continue these habits, right? You can continue these good hydration habits. I think that is it. Yes, that is what I have. Any questions?
Yeah, if anyone has any questions, go ahead and type it into the little chat. If not, and you think of something later, don't feel free to reach out to the club and we'll get that question to Darby and she'll kind of answer that for us.
Are you guys posting my sorry, I just read the note from Nathan to you. Are you guys posting my email contact information somewhere? Good question for Kenji.
That would be a question for Kenji, but
okay. I'll reach out to you guys so that you guys have my contact info. Another thing I just want to remind you is that survey. I know surveys are annoying. I know, but I've been asked by CHLA to just remind you guys. It shouldn't take very long, and it would be really helpful. So I would really appreciate it. And I look forward to seeing you all again. I've missed you all. I've missed the dojo, so I'm ready. I'm ready to be back, and I hope you are too.
All right. I guess if we don't have any questions, then
oh,
what? Do you have a question?
No, Brian just said, how much sleep do you recommend the kids get?
That's a question. Go ahead and answer it.
Sleep is also very important. I should have mentioned that in here. It's funny that Brian asked me this since Brian has wonderful sleeping habits. 8 hours, guys. Quality 8 hours, 7 to 8 hours kind of thing. Going to bed at 12 o'clock at night and waking up at 8, I can guarantee you it's not quality sleep. also I realize that you're young teenagers, you know, have lives, but sleeping, you want to perform your best. Sleeping is extremely important. So I'm not going to give you a bedtime. I'm not going to tell you when you should go to bed, but I just can let you know that going to bed at 12 and waking up at 9 o'clock or 8 o'clock, it's not the kind of quality sleep that you're looking for. We can go into that more, I guess, but does that answer your question, Brian? Do you approve of that answer?
Yeah, I totally do.
Okay, good.
Ask because I know I struggle with it, but I'm not 18 anymore, so.
And
Yeah.
I know some of the kids are staying up late at night on their phones and not going to bed. So
Yeah. So like I said, like you know, and especially some of us that like at the dojo, right, when you practice till 9:30 or so, right? Like I don't always get to bed the earliest on those nights, but I can always tell the difference. So I just know that when you're going to bed, staying on your phones till 11, 12 o'clock at night, you're just not getting that quality of sleep. You're not letting your body recover in the capacity that it needs to. So aim for 7 to 8 hours, a little bit. Sometimes, okay, I'm 26 years old, and there are days, yeah, there are days where like I'm not gonna lie, like after a volleyball tournament, I sleep for like 10 hours. I do. Your body's gonna do what you need to do, but also if you're going to bed later and then sleeping, like it's not that quality recovery, right? You can obviously sleep more than 8 hours, right? That's just a recommended, but make sure that they're quality hours of sleep, right?
So, so Darby, would you recommend the players try to come up with some sort of like bedtime routine in terms of like
Absolutely.
maybe like, I don't know, implementing stretching and like perhaps
like
meditation?
Cool down before bed.
A cool down, yeah.
Yeah. Anything that's going to kind of help you relax, but kind of help that aided recovery, right? You do the most of your recovery when you're sleeping. So anything that you can kind of give you that extra advantage before bed, I think is great. So we talked about the stretching and foam rolling technique or routine. Do those before bed, right? That's a great idea. And then that can kind of help you, right? You're stretched, you're relaxed. Do you ever like lay in bed and think about like dropping your shoulders and all of a sudden realizing that like you're completely like tense and stuff like that? Doing like an overall body check. I think that's a great idea as well. I think that'll kind of help you put in that mindset to get some quality recovery sleep.
You had 2 questions, Darby.
Oh gosh, okay.
Well, PG asked, when would you recommend going to sleep then? Like at what time? And what time getting up? But you kind of said the whole quality thing. It's more important the quality.
I don't want to like, okay, what do I think? Honestly, what we should all be doing? 10:30 the latest. I can't, everyone's different. I can't like give you a like PG, you should go to bed at 10:30 and arise at 7 o'clock. That is the ultimate recovery for you. But anything past 10:30, I think is just you're robbing yourself of some of that stuff. So even if you start like your bedtime routine at like 9:30, I know you guys are gonna be like, oh my gosh, 9:30, 10 o'clock, right? And then you're kind of winding down. And I don't mean like being in bed at 10:15 and then staring at your phone for 15 to 30 minutes right before you go to bed. Put the phone away half an hour, 15 minutes before bed, do stretching, foam rolling, listen to apps. So there's an app called Calm that when like I ever have trouble sleeping or if I feel like I need to get kind of into that like bedtime mode, they like tell stories and like these wonderful voices that like automatically like put me to sleep. So anything like that. If you're having trouble falling asleep earlier because you're used to staying up late at night, try some of those techniques. I'm not an expert in this either, so I'm giving you just general guidelines, but I'm not like a sleep expert.
And then you had a question. What are your thoughts on hydration IV packets?
Would I love you to hydrate without them? Yes. If you feel like you need the extra assistance, absolutely. If you're someone who's prone to cramping, And that's the thing. That's why I'm saying prepare now, because then you won't need aids like that. There's nothing wrong with them. Absolutely nothing wrong with them. I like have friends that run, right, like multiple half marathons, stuff like that, that love IV packets, right, because they're doing so much training that they need the help of the hydration aid. But if you can kind of start prepping yourself now, I don't think you'll need aids like that. I have no problem with them. I have like hydration tablets with me always, like in case you guys during tournaments and stuff like that start to cramp or feel super dehydrated, stuff like that. But those are usually like a last minute kind of thing for me. But if you feel like the hydration IV packets or anything like that is going to help you stay a little bit more hydrated, great. But I also think that you can do it on your own.
Sweet.
Any other questions? If not, I think this is a good place to stop. All right. Well, since there are no other questions, thank you guys for all coming today. Like we said, hope to see you guys around. And if you need any more of this information, it'll be posted back up onto the YouTube page.
Oh, I miss you guys too. I'm excited to see you guys. So, like I said, we'll post my info. So if you guys have questions, please feel free to reach out. That's what I'm here for.
Thank you, Darby Adams.
Darby.
Thank you, Darby.
Yeah, you're welcome. Bye, guys.
See you guys. CPG. Yeah, you made it.
Hydration.
37 minutes. You made it.
How fast did I talk?
Jess, stop record.
Mm.
Stop.